Hello everyone! In this chapter, we are going to investigate a little bit more what we have seen in the introduction, aka the verb to have. Remember, we have seen expressions such as io ho una sorella, or io ho 30 anni, or io ho 2 figli. So, io ho, you guys know at this point, is the verb to have, avere. The first thing we're going to do though here is to get down the conjugation, because verbs in Italian must be conjugated. That allows, number one, to express different persons doing, or owning, I should say, more than doing something, okay? Because the verb to have got, to own, to possess, okay? That's the verb to have, avere. So, number one, you will need to entertain a conversation with somebody to be able to ask questions, to be able to understand what they say, to be able to address not just myself, but anybody else. Number one. Number two, once you learn the conjugation with subjects, you are going to be able to drop the subject because the verb is conjugated. It means it has a different ending, and that allows you to drop the actual subject and just go with the verb. The verb contains the subject. The verb contains who's doing the action, who's in this particular case owning whatever it is. So let's start with the conjugation. I have is io ho. It's spelled with an H, but the H is completely silent in Italian all the time, so that's a general rule, right? One of the very few rules that persist and it's consistent throughout the language. So even though you see it with an H, there's not pronunciation of an H. There's not aspiration of any kind of sound. Io ho. Tu hai. Again, with an H, irrelevant. Tu hai. You have. Tu hai. He has. That is lui ha. Again, with an H, irrelevant. Lui ha. She has. Lei ha. It has does not exist, so you're just gonna say ha. There's no actual subject for that. Okay? So let's recap the first so-called 3 persons of the conjugation. Io ho, tu hai, lui or lei ha. We have, noi abbiamo. You guys have, voi avete, loro hanno. They have, loro hanno. Now, let's recap the last 3 persons. We have, noi abbiamo. You guys have, voi avete. They have, loro hanno. A couple of caveats here. First, what's the difference between you guys and they? Some people struggle with this concept, but you guys is when you are addressing multiple people. More than one person is multiple people, okay? So if you're talking to 2 people, at least 2 people, I should say, then you have to use voi. You're addressing them directly. In writing, this is spelled out by having their names and then a comma, or the term ragazzi, guys, and then a comma. And usually it's a question, or the sentence might end with an exclamation mark. And what that means is I'm addressing a group of people, a group of at least 2 people at once. And that's when I'm using you guys, you all. If, on the contrary, I am talking about people, okay? About people, to someone or multiple people, that's irrelevant. But I'm talking not to them, but I'm talking about them. Then in that case, I would use they have, in this particular case, which is loro hanno. So if I'm describing a couple, let's say, okay, I'm saying they have kids, okay? Loro hanno figli. Loro hanno 2 figli. Loro hanno 3 figli, whatever it is. Loro hanno il cane, or un cane, a dog, the dog, whatever you prefer. Loro hanno un cane. They have a dog. But if I am addressing multiple people at once, I'll use voi. Second caveat here. This is not French. Voi is not used to be formal, okay? There's a different structure to address somebody formally, okay? So you are only going to use voi when you're addressing at least two people at once, asking them something, telling them something, such as a command, for instance, okay? If I have kids, if I have at least two kids, and I want to say, you guys, clean, okay? That's ragazzi, comma, in writing, pulite. You clean. You guys clean. Pulite. That's just to give you an understanding. You don't need to grasp all of that right now, but you have to understand that voi is addressing multiple people, they is when you talk about them. Now, with that being said, in this specific episode, once you have memorized, because you do need to memorize the verb to have, once you have done that, we are going to move on to expressions that in English would require the verb to be, whereas in Italian they require the verb to have. That's not because to have can take the meaning of to be. Let's not get confused here. That's simply because the verb to have is used for those limited amount of expressions. Okay? So, we're gonna go and analyze, discuss, make examples with this set of expressions that in English would require to be, and in Italian require the usage of the verb to have. So let's delve into these 10 expressions. Number 1. When you want to ask somebody, how old are they, right? So the question you're normally going to ask is, how old are you? See, in English we use to be, but in Italian we say, how many years do you have? That's the literal translation. How many, quanti, quanti, anni, hai. How many, quanti, years, anni, hai, you have. Quanti anni hai, it's a question, so the tone must go up a little bit. Don't stretch it too much, okay? We're not trying to rehearse for the Cirque du Soleil. We're just gonna have a just slightly upwards intonation. Quanti anni hai? Answer. Io ho blah 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 anni. Io ho blah 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 anni. Io ho 30 anni. Io ho 50 anni. Io ho 65 anni. Whatever your age is. Okay? So, first expression, quanti anni hai? How old are you? Answer. Second expression, io ho blah 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 anni. Third expression, I'm hungry. Io ho fame. The beauty of this is that fame never changes. So, you just need to memorize that. Io ho fame. Literally, I have hunger. Io ho fame. Hai fame? Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Hai fame? Fourth expression. I'm thirsty. Io ho sete. Io ho sete. Again, sete never changes, so that's wonderful, right? Because we have something fixed there. There's no tweaks around that. Io ho sete. I'm thirsty. Hai sete? Are you thirsty? There's no double meaning, okay? It's different from English. In this case, fame is just hunger, and sete is just thirst. No double meaning here, so you could go straightforwardly and ask the question, if that's what you mean. I'm hot and I'm cold. That's expression number 5. And expression number 6, I'm cold and I'm hot. So, expression number 5. I'm cold. I'm cold is io ho freddo. Io ho freddo. I'm hot. Io ho caldo. Okay. Hai caldo? Hai freddo? So remember, caldo is not cold, but the opposite. It's hot. Okay? And what we strictly mean here is just temperature-wise. Okay? So we are referring to the weather, to the external condition of the environment. Okay? So there's not hot as in spicy, there's not hot as in sexy, there's just temperature-related words here. Io ho caldo, I'm hot. Io ho freddo, I'm cold. And of course, I could say noi abbiamo caldo. If I'm speaking for multiple people, would be noi abbiamo caldo. Noi abbiamo molto caldo. We're very hot. Noi abbiamo molto caldo. Noi abbiamo un po' di caldo. A little bit. Okay? So we're hot, but not too much. Noi abbiamo un po' di freddo. Un po' di. A little bit of. Voi avete caldo? Are you guys hot? Voi avete caldo? And you go up with the tone. Expression number 7. I need. I have the need of, literally. And the way we say this is io ho bisogno di. Now, ho, of course, is part of the verb to have, so you got to conjugate that. Okay? Tu hai bisogno, lui lei ha bisogno, noi abbiamo bisogno, voi avete bisogno, loro hanno bisogno. Then you place a D, which is of. I have the need of something. And then after that, you could go either with a noun. Io ho bisogno di cioccolato. I'm in need of chocolate. Okay? Or you could say a verb, an entire sentence. Io ho bisogno di andare fuori. I need to go out. So, you could have whatever you please after di, but it's important that bisogno would stay bisogno. That's important because it's regardless of your gender and number. O is the part that will get conjugated. Io ho bisogno di such and such. For instance, io ho bisogno di imparare a cucinare, because I haven't learned yet. Io ho bisogno di imparare a cucinare. I'm in need to learn how to cook. Ho bisogno di imparare, infinitive of the verb. We're going to get to that later. Okay? Imparare, to learn. A, to cucinare, cook. Both of those verbs are in infinitive. And again, nothing to worry right now, but when you're going to look up for a verb, you're going to look up the infinitive of the verb. So to learn would be imparare, to cook, cucinare. Expression number 8 and 9. Those two expressions are certainly my favorite ones. And to say, I'm right, okay? As in, I made my point, I'm right. I told you I was right. What we're going to say is, ho ragione. Literally translated as, I have reason. Which is not, I have reasons to do such and such, okay? It's just, I'm right. I'm right. Io ho ragione. Io ho ragione. Io ho sempre ragione. I'm always right. Io ho sempre, always. Io ho sempre ragione. Tu hai torto. You're wrong. Tu hai torto. Ragione, torto, never change. So, you're cool with that. So you're fine with that. Io ho ragione. Io ho sempre ragione. Tu hai torto. What we prefer to say is more, I'm right, not so much, you're wrong. But you could actually say that because this is a very straightforward language. You could be as direct as you like. Io ho ragione. Tu hai torto. Lei ha ragione. Voi avete torto. When you say sentences, make sure that every noun or every expression you say sounds like a wave. What I mean by that is that you start high with the intonation, then you go down and go back up. And so in your mind, right, there has to be a wave while you speak. See, I always start high, then I go down and then go back up. This is not a language with a necessarily flat accent. You go up and down, but you go up and down harmoniously. You don't go abruptly. There's no need to be succinct, and in order to achieve that, you could stretch a little bit more than you would normally the vowels. Io ho ragione. See? O sounds a little longer than just io. And that's because we don't perceive that difference. It's just melody. It contributes to this language being very melodic. Last expression of the day, I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry, that is io ho fretta. Io ho fretta. Again, fretta does not change. Io ho fretta. I'm in a hurry. I'm in a rush. Or however you like to say this in English, this is kind of fixed in Italian. Io ho fretta. Lei ha fretta. Negative form of this would sound like this. Non ho fretta. Like I can say, I'm not in a rush. Non ho fretta. Non ho fretta. See here, what I've done, have dropped the subject. Why? I don't need it. O would contain the I. Non hai fretta? Question. Are you not in a hurry? Non hai fretta? Question. And I'm just going upwards with the tone of what I'm saying. So let's recap a little bit. There's 10 expressions. Number 1. Quanti anni hai? Io ho 55 anni. Number 3. Io ho caldo. I'm hot. Io ho freddo. Avete freddo? Sì, abbiamo un po' di freddo. Number 5. Io ho fame. I'm hungry. Avete sete? Are you thirsty? Avete sete? Number 7. I'm in need of. Ho bisogno di. Avete bisogno di qualcosa? Do you guys need anything? Avete bisogno di qualcosa? Qualcosa meaning anything, something. There's no actual difference there. So you guys can use qualcosa when you want to say either something or anything. Number 8 and number 9. Io ho ragione. Tu hai sempre torto. I'm right, you're always wrong. Io ho ragione. Io ho torto. Number 10. I'm in a hurry. Io ho fretta. No, non ho fretta. No, I'm not in a rush. Those are 10 expressions that would require the verb to have in Italian, avere, but the verb to be in English. So once you know those, you're fine and good to go. There's potentially one more extra expression that I could give you as a bonus. That is when you want to say, I'm sleepy, okay? In that case also, we use the verb avere. So instead of saying, I'm sleepy, I will say, I have sleep. Which is not that I have slept, but it's rather, I'm sleep deprived, I need to go to bed and sleep. Which is, io ho sonno. Now, when you pronounce the word sonno, make sure that you actually pronounce the double consonant, the double N of this word. Because io sono is I am. Loro sono, sono spelled with one N again, that's they are. But io ho sonno, that's I'm sleepy. Io ho sonno. Ho bisogno di dormire. I'm sleepy. I'm in need of sleeping. Dormire. To sleep. Now, Before letting you go, just one minor remark. Caldo and freddo do not change as long as a human being is a subject or an animal is a subject, okay? So if I want to express how they feel, right, how human beings or animals feel, then caldo will always stay caldo and freddo will always stay freddo. However, if I want to refer hot and cold to the sensation, okay, that some things communicate to me. In other words, if I want to say that the plate is hot, the water is cold, etc., right? So if my subject, if my term of reference is a thing, then in that case, I will need not only a different verb, that verb is going to be essere, but also I will need to adjust and modify the endings. But all of this is something we are actually going to discuss in our next episode. Until then, ciao ciao!